quick game of smash, marry, kill. Smash the center, marry the left. Kristen Stewart, sorry, you gotta go. All right. Hey, isn't it strange how the lead of this movie is literally that disposable? No offense, darling, you just didn't blow the roof off with your acting performance in the Twilight series, and shit, that type of that's on film. We all see that. We all know what it is. But yeah, I wanted to take a moment and talk about the Charlie Angels movie that came out that $8 million worth of people saw. And I might actually start making this a thing because we got a Forbes article with Scott Mendelson. But before I get into that article, I want to say how in 2000, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz, and Drew Barrymore were all like at a peak. Like they had really solidified themselves as stars, in Hollywood. So the excitement around that movie is having those stars together. Unfortunately, in this situation, whereas Shorty in the center is insanely hot. I mean, my God, look at her. But, you can tell that's incredibly high maintenance. Baby girl on the left, she's gorgeous too. But she also has that more laid back look to her. And Kristen Stewart right here. I mean, you just asked us to suspend disbelief a little too much. All right, like seriously, even looking at them right here, are they that intimidating? There's a reason we have weight classes in sports. You get to, choose if you're a lightweight or if you're a heavyweight, and they don't have the heavyweights fight the lightweights because the lightweights will be overpowered, just naturally, just inherently overpowered. And that's the same thing with these types of movies. It's why they tend not to do well. And it wasn't just, this one. What was that one? Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron, or was that Proud Mary with Taraji P. Henson? You're asking us to suspend disbelief a little too hard. I'm sorry. I mean, because have you ever been punched by a woman? You can eat it easy. It's like, particularly when they got arms that thin. I'm sorry, your punch is not going to put anybody down. But that, I think, is the real crux of it. The where this really fell short is that you didn't have big enough stars. You hadn't, none of these ladies have cultivated the type of celebrity that the previous three mentioned had cultivated over the time. So there wasn't that type of excitement. And when it comes to Elizabeth Banks, I mean, she looks like she's always playing her character, which is neurotic. She doesn't really act, she just plays herself, which is, a neurotic, perpetually offended, blonde woman, American woman. So let's get into this article. And it's being brought to us from Forbes and our buddy Scott Mendelson. Box office. Charlie's Angels joins Terminator and Dr. Sleep as Hollywood's latest failed franchise. When audiences don't care about your IP and when interest is driven not by moviegoers but by the studio or the filmmakers, every movie is driven by studios and or filmmakers. This was driven by agenda, Mr. Mendelson. Okay? Oh, girl power! The franchise revamp is potentially riskier than an outright original. When you sit there and talk about how, oh yeah, we want to sit there and crap on men, then one of the bigger misconceptions that I really want to squash right quick is that, oh, men are half of the population. We are not half. We are less than half of the population. They keep trying to say, oh, no, there's never been an equal amount of men and women on the planet, or in the country, or really anywhere. Women always are always a majority. They are actually one of the Earth's biggest majorities. Sony's Charlie's Angels, starring Kristen Stewart, Ella Balinska, Naomi Scott, and Elizabeth Banks, opened with just $8.6 million this weekend. The previous Charlie's Angels opened with $37 million in 2003 and $40 million in 2000, eventually earning $259 million on a $120 million budget and $264 million on a $93 million budget. The McG films had stars Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore, and a fresh-off Ally McBeal, Lucy Liu. That's what she was famous from. Okay. Big action and a certain allure existing during a time when big-budget action flicks starring women were even less common than they are today. Bullshit. Sorry, because we can go back further than that when it comes to Ripley and Aliens. I'm pretty sure that came before 2000. All like there's been tons of movies. Catwoman wasn't Catwoman before 2000. I'm not sure. I don't have IMDb seared into my brain, but yeah. That like to sit here and act like, oh no, there's just never women in movies before. My goodness, we're doing everything that we're doing in 2019 wasn't done back in like 1983, 1985. Come on, man, miss me. Moreover, they debuted in a time when audiences went to the movies just to go to the movies, and when a big budget adaptation of a well-known TV show, especially one with of the moment stars, was an event. Sadly, few of these variables apply to this new Charlie's Angels. Kristen Stewart is sadly no longer a butt in the seats draw. And was she ever? Oh, outside of the indie circuit, but that's the thing. Like, it wasn't her. It was that series that she was in because Chicks was completely in. When Twilight was big, like females were. It completely lost it. As much as her casting initially resembled Johnny Depp, considered box office poison, and mostly dedicated to doing art house fare at the time, playing an eccentric and drunk pirate on Walt Disney's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, she couldn't support an entire movie with elements that otherwise seemed run-of-the-mill. Naomi Scott may be somewhat known for Aladdin and Power Rangers, two other IP flicks that were arguably better than expected, but this is a time when even Will Smith can't pull in a crowd outside of the brand franchise offering. Ella Balinska is a relative unknown. This wasn't three of the moment movie stars taking their turn as Charlie's ass-kicking angels, more so than in 2000. The IP had to do with the heavy lifting. Hollywood has become too accustomed to raiding the IP vaults for anything that was once successful to try to make it successful again, that they failed to realize that not all IP is good IP. Let me cut you off. Deal is that anything can be good. Pause. Anything can be good. You can make anything good. It's a matter of what's driving what the agenda is. And they decided to pluck the Charlie's Angels IP because they wanted to push feminism or my wokeism. Well, you get what you pay for. You go broke, right? Bad IP can be a deterrent to audiences, starting the film not with a clean slate, but on the defensive. Not to beat a dead horse, but Sony's attempts to arbitrarily reboot Spider-Man was the arguable beginning of all this madness. And even that reboot didn't really work, mostly due to over-budgeting and shifting goalposts. Okay, and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, Jumanji 2. And that's the thing. Like, you can make anything. Any of these things could have been good if it had a good story behind it, and it was actually, and that was the driving purpose. You had a really good story to tell. Unfortunately, they didn't have a story to tell. They had an agenda to push. So, coming from someone who liked this new Charlie's Angels well enough, and and this is why we can't take you seriously, Scott Mendelson. Because he's just a shill. He'll say whatever the studios want him to say. Let's get towards his end. Terminated the Dark Fate bomb because once again agenda. Like it's all agenda, and that's what Scott Mendelson is here to do. I think this is why I am focusing on him and his work, because he's just like, whatever the agenda is, boss. Whatever the agenda is, boss. Oh, makes no mistake. This is exactly how he sounds. I'm pretty sure in real life. Oh, sauce. I's got you, boss. Boss man's business. Boss man studios. I's got you. And so he'll sit there and put whatever spin that he can on it. And he's trying to sit here and equate, what happened to the other one. But unfortunately, he's completely missing the mark. Because, like I said, every movie ever made was made with the agenda mostly of making money. Or has been made. But the deal is that what's driving it? Is it a story or is it an agenda? And in Dark Fate's situation, and in Charlie's Angels situation, and in a ton of these movies situations, there's this girl power agenda, and then it goes nowhere because you didn't offer a good story. I'm telling you, anything can be a good IP. You can make a movie about a lamp. I think wasn't that the toaster or something, like the littlest toaster? You can make a movie about anything, all right? But you gotta make it good. So let's just go back on these chicks right quick, because I'm not going to sit here and just rock through his entire thing. It is boring. Boring writer. But seriously, Shorty in the Sense is dope. And I ain't even looking at a face like that. But the relative unknown, that's like I'm telling you, like you put her like in homegirl role, she aight. And Kristen Stewart, like still smashable, but just yeah, acting is no bueno. So, with that being said, we're gonna bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you like to toss a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and want to get videos like this every single day. Ring the bell because, hey man, if I ain't getting notified, then you're probably not getting notified. And the bell is the best way to go about trying to get notified. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and BitChute, you know, they don't got me, you got me, and I appreciate you. And speak. Let me know what do you think in the comments. It's just the fact that, everything, like that's the thing about capitalism, right? You see an opportunity, you take it. When they have an opportunity to tell a great story, cool. But if you have an opportunity to push an agenda, you don't have a story, so you're gonna rely on a brand, a pre-established brand to, you know, get you over that hump. And as you're learning, particularly when it comes to these big budget films that the mainstream is producing, then don't work all the time. I mean, the subtlety is what makes it subtlety is what is the big difference maker between propaganda and, you know, a good story. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until the next one.